I want to show you something. This Rembrandt here. People come from all over the world to see this.
Yeah, he's good, yeah.
It's a fake.
What are we talking about? It's impossible.
People believe what they want to believe. Because the guy who made this was so good that it's real to everybody. And who's the master? The painter or the forger?
The Con is on. Yes, we're here today to talk about American Hustle. And just for you who have listened to us in the past, we're actually trying something a little bit different with our Let's Talk podcasts. Instead of rambling on for extended periods of time and then giving our summarization rating, what we're going to do a quick kind of recap review, a quick fire review and rating at the beginning, and then go into our discussion so we can touch on spoilers without feeling guilty or stepping on people's toes who want to just get the rating and move on. So with that in mind, let's start talking about American Hustle, which is David O. Russell's follow-up to one of our favourite here at Screenhog UK, Silver Linings Playbook, which was his Oscar-winning film, Jennifer Lawrence winning for Best Actress last year. And American Hustle tells the story of New York-based businessman Irving Rosenfeld, who owns a chain of dry cleaning stores, amongst other things, such as a glazier, but makes most of his money through conning people, and also he runs a very lucrative fake and stolen art business on the side, and that's where he gets the most of his money. However, one day Irving becomes involved with a very clever and seductive young woman called Sidney Prosser, played by Amy Adams. Sorry, I should mention that Irving's played by Christian Bale, who is marvellous. And Sidney and Irving quickly fall in love, prompting Irving to bring her in on his cons and fake art dealings, because he sees a lot of potential in her. And they unfortunately fall foul of the FBI, in particular an agent called Richie DeMasso, played by a horrible, an irritatingly incompetent Bradley Cooper, who basically press gangs them into service, forcing them to help him catch political targets by employing the cons they're so expert at using. Unfortunately, events quickly spiral out of control when the two get involved in Richie's schemes, as his ambitions get the better of him, and every time they start to get somewhere with their cons, he ups the stakes and ups the cons in the level, eventually embroiling them in some major trouble. And this leaves Irving to try and get them out of this horrible situation, while he struggles to kind of maintain the tatters of his personal life that this has kind of brought on him. Across the board here, the cast is incredibly strong, with the five main stars of Bale, Amy Adams, Cooper, Jennifer Lawrence, and Jeremy Renner. They're all incredibly good in their own parts, and they almost seem like they were cast against type to force them to bring out the A game, to bring these characters to life. Christian Bale is a wonder as the pot-bellied, balding Irving, who on the face of things is really a despicable, lying scumbag. You know, he cheats people out of money for a living. However, through Bale's performance, he almost forces you to like him, as he slowly reveals hidden depths to his character, whose life is largely filled with misery and loneliness. It's almost as if these cons are the only ray of light in his life, because that's what he's good at and it's what he loves doing. I've got to say, I always like Christian Bale, and this is probably his best performance since he won an Oscar for The Fighter. And in some respects, it's better. I really, really liked him in this movie. Amy Adams is also another strong candidate, another strong star, and it was nice to see her in a movie with some substance after last year's Man of Steel. The reason it was so nice to see her in a movie with so much substance is because it reminded me why I like her so much. And she has this great ability in this film. She has this great atmosphere about her that she just oozes this kind of 70s style and 70s style sexiness. And she uses any excuse to wear a plunging neckline. And other than that, she's actually very good. She portrays this great sense of strength and vulnerability simultaneously, and she's a really nice character. And I kind of felt for her through a lot of this. I genuinely liked her character as well. I thought she was a good somebody you can kind of root for in a way, because she's not despicable or outright bad. She's just a bit of a lost soul. While I'm very much looking forward to seeing Bradley Cooper's take on Rocket Raccoon in about 8 months' time, I couldn't help but dislike him in this movie. Not that I'm saying he's bad, no, in fact, quite the opposite. Bradley Cooper's great, he's very good, but he's just wholly unlikable as Richie DeMasso, this overly ambitious, cocky, slightly inept FBI agent who just is kind of out of his depth and doesn't really, despite his his cocksureness and his arrogance, especially as things progress through the story, he's just completely unlikable. He's not very nice at all. But that's a complete turnaround from Bradley Cooper because normally this guy oozes charisma and you can't help but like him. So again, he's on top form as well. Jennifer Lawrence takes a bit of a backseat in this movie, and she plays Rosalind Rosenfeld, who is Christian Bale's horrendously manipulative wife, who is basically she is like a Black Widow spider that's got Irving trapped in this web of despair. She's absolutely horrendous. And what's impressive is Jennifer Lawrence is actually very young. She's still in her early 20s, and yes, she's going up against these actors who are very much a lot older than her, a lot more seasoned than her, and she still steals the show. She is a wonderful actress, and she proves it again here, showing she's got a lot of range as well, because this is unlike any character I've seen her play before. She's marvellous. As I say, she takes a bit of a backseat because she's not in it a huge amount, but when she is in it, she's marvellous. And I can't wait. I can't get enough of Jenny at this point, and I just this is just another great example of why she's one to watch out. She's Hollywood's darling at the moment. And I suppose rounding out the cast, I said this before, but rounding out the cast, you've got Jeremy Renner, who plays Carmine, who is a local mayor who Christian Bale and Bradley Cooper embroil in their schemes, and he gets caught up. And normally Jeremy Renner has a real talent for playing a bit of a dick, but in here he's the nicest guy. And again, he's very much cast against type. And he's great in the part. I really liked him and I really felt for him, because if there's one person that's truly a victim of this film, it is his character. And you can't help but feel sorry for this guy who he's a saint, and he gets completely torn down by these otherwise pretty despicable people. American Hustle is overall an incredibly entertaining movie, an incredibly entertaining crime drama that is powered by its top-notch cast and given a brilliant sheen by its gaudy 70s style that manages to be both horrendous to look at, yet incredibly stylish. David Russell continues his streak of award-caliber movies with this, and whilst I don't quite like it as much as Silver Linings, it still deserves a lot of praise and a lot of attention, and that's why I'm giving this a very confident, a very solid A.
I have to say I agree with you completely. I had an A grade down in mind for this as well. From a purely acting point of view, you've got one of the best casts of the year here. All 5 actors, as you said, sort of excelled themselves. And I think the only point that I disagree with you is I think this is better than Christian Bale's last performance in an O. Russell film. I can't remember, he was one of the Dickies in The Fighter, wasn't he?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact name, but he was the one who, he went rounds with Sugar Ray Leonard and was a crack addict.
Yeah. I know him for being a crack addict.
Was he not Dickie? Yeah, was that his name?
Was that just his name, Dickie?
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly. But I think in this one it was better, because while he was amazing in The Fighter, and there's no denying that on any level, in this one he made me forget he was Christian Bale. There was one point about 2 hours in when I was just like, I just remember with him. He did such a good job. He just became Irving. It was like he was a real person, and that doesn't happen in every film.
No, I'd agree as well.
But then, you got Jeremy Renner, who he never really lit the film on fire in the Avengers. He's an Avenger, but let's face it, Hawkeye's no one's favourite superhero. And he was in that reboot, wasn't he, of The Bourne? That was him.
Yeah, that they did very poorly. Although they are planning another one as well.
Yeah, well, I like him because he's in Mission Impossible 4 actually, and I love him in that. But this is easily his best performance.
Yeah, he's really good. And again,
Mile.
he's cast against type as well, I've found, because usually he plays a bit of a dick, I normally find.
Yeah.
Whereas here, he's actually quite the opposite. He's like a really, really nice guy.
He plays the nicest guy that I've seen in film in a while.
He plays that rarest of beasts, like a likable politician who actually does things for the people.
But from what I hear, that's one of the fictions of the thing, because I think the character that he's based on was a bit more of an arsehole.
Oh, really?
But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about that later on. From a directing point of view, this could, to me, have easily gone down as like a B-rate heist movie, or a B-rate like crime caper.
Yeah.
Just based on it could have ended up looking like Austin Powers, to be honest. But then you put David O. Russell behind any camera and you're going to get some quality like this. So yeah, I think it's a firm A. It's not quite. I think it's a bit overly long, especially some of the early scenes, which is why I'm not giving it like an A plus or a gold. But definitely worth your time and money.
Yeah, I'd very much agree. Okay then. So we've got the formalities out the way. So Simon,
We're doing a bullshit now.
let's talk American Hustle. So yeah, like apart from I suppose going back over kind of some of the things we've already said, but right off the bat, fucking Christian Bale, man, I didn't expect him to be as good as he actually was in this film. I don't really know what I was expecting from him, but damn, he was fucking class in this film.
Like I say, it was hard to remember that there was someone acting there, because to me that his was the only character that you thought this could be easily be a documentary.
Yeah, he
Like,
was like
everyone-
he's like one of the few method actors that's still around. I mean, he really has like a proper beer gut in this film. And I was thinking, when like in the posters and everything, he's got clothes on, but he's actually you actually see him kind of in a bathing suit in this, and he has just got this gut. And when you see him in like Batman, he's
It's so crazy,
completely
isn't
the
it?
opposite. And his fucking comb over, it's like you wouldn't get anybody trying to do that shit these days. It's just so ridiculous. It's such a relic of like the 70s, but it's kind of cool at the same time.
He's a really cool character.
Yeah, he is, and it kind of comes into why Amy Adams' character Sydney falls for him, because he is like he's so kind of confident in his own skin. He knows exactly what he's about. And she kind of falls for him in regards to that, because really she's like the complete opposite of him. She's this really kind of hot little sex kitten.
I mean, she's probably, some of the fashion was a bit out of date for any sort of starlet now, but in the 70s, if this film was a 70s film, I'd imagine that she would have been like, no argument, the hottest girl on screen that year.
Yeah,
she was fantastic.
She's gorgeous in this film, but she's also really good. She kind of portrays this, or projects this great sense of like both strength and vulnerability at the same time.
Yeah.
She seems quite fragile, but then there's other times where she's obviously very clever, and she's very much Irving, Christian Bale's character's equal for most of it. Obviously, he brings her in on his cons, and she's almost the brains behind the operation, while he's the kind of the experience.
Well, yeah, and that's how it falls down when they get recruited by the FBI agent played by Rocket Raccoon himself, because he's got all this sort of ambition and things, but he needs their experience and planning to do it all, and it always falls on Christian Bale, who doesn't even want to be there to sort out all the problems, and they just get wound down this sort of rabbit hole of escalation.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean, Bradley Cooper basically he's the beginning and the end of all fucking problems in this movie. Obviously, he kind of entraps them to helping him. But every time they get in somewhere, like they get to the point where he basically says that if you get me or help me get 5 busts using these cons, I'll let you go. But then all of a sudden, they're suddenly going after political targets, and then they're going after fucking state political targets, and then like all the way up to the fucking Senate. And it just keeps getting escalated higher and higher. And every time they get to like the end game of one stage, he sees an opportunity to get to the next level and takes it. Whereas Christian Bale, who's the man they brought in because he specifically knows how to do these cons,
he just wants to cash out because.
Well, he's saying no. Look, it's getting too fucking complicated. You're going to blow this by aiming too high. If we just do what we got here at hand, we'll be able to do it and get done, and that's all there is to it. But no, fucking Bradley Cooper is such a dick.
He really is. And I like Bradley Cooper in Silver Linings. In that one, he probably... It's hard to say because he nearly killed a man beforehand, and then he's so blunt. But he's a nice guy at heart, whereas this is almost the exact opposite.
Yeah.
He's like, he comes across as alright, and then you see what he's doing, and then it's just like, actually... I mean, he's not nasty or anything, he's just a knob.
Yeah, he's just like a complete. He's just kind of almost unaware of what his actions have on people, and the kind of effect he has on people. I mean, Christ, to a degree, it does show you. It does try to make you kind of feel sorry, or at least paint him as not quite just like this huge dick that's got no redeeming qualities. Because when it shows you his family, that he's like living in this shitty box of a fucking apartment with. You can kind of see why he probably wants to make something of himself and get out of there, because he's living with this harridan of a mother who just kind of bosses him about. She's like a proper Italian matriarch style mother, and he's got this like fiance who's obviously just been paired up with, and he has no real interest in. And I thought that at least that kind of shows that he's not completely without like there's a reason he's like he is, but still he is a massive dick. Yeah. I think the bit where he's talking to Amy Adams on the phone, and he's basically like completely denying that he's got a fiance right in front of his fiance.
Yeah.
Just so he can go out to the club with fucking Amy Adams' character is so horrible. It's like cringeworthy though, because she can it's not like the fiance can hear what's happening on the phone, but even just from what he's saying, she can blatantly get the idea. Yeah. Exactly, it's horrible.
And then it's hard because, well, it's not hard. I'm not sure what they were going for, but when it's clear from the beginning that Amy Adams and Christian Bale, at some point they're keeping up a persona with him. And at one point you think, right, if they get the opportunity to turn the tables, they're going to, because they'll have had all this sort of groundwork in place the whole time.
Yeah.
So Amy Adams is sort of stringing him along. And you know for a fact that she's leading him on completely. She might like him a teeny tiny bit, but she's leading him on for the most part. And in any other film, you would feel sorry for him, but in this one it's just like, well...
He's a dick, so it don't matter.
Kind of deserve it.
Yeah.
And God... Louis C.K.'s is like
he's I really wanted to fucking mention him in my kind of little bit, but he is so good in this film.
He was amazing. He was easily the best outside the five top build. He was so funny at every point, and he's sort of on the bad end of Bradley Cooper's stick for most of this, but so you feel even more sorry for him because he's getting done by the knob of Bradley Cooper. But
he is, he's
so funny.
He is funny as fuck. And the story, he's trying to kind of impart some fatherly wisdom to Bradley Cooper, telling him a story of him and his brother going ice fishing. And I just love like how Bradley Cooper keeps interrupting them to like say, "Oh, so this is what happened in the story," and the guy's like, "No, man, I'll tell you what happened." And Bradley Cooper's like, "I'm not fucking interested," and then he'll walk off, and then come back half an hour later, and he's like, "Hey, so what's the end of the ice fishing story?"
It's really funny. I'm just happy to hear the end of it.
I know you never hear the end of it, but apparently, I've not seen it, but apparently there's a video on the internet that has Louis C.K. actually telling the end of the story.
Okay, I'll have to have a look. I could have stood for a little more of him. But he was, Jennifer Lawrence didn't get a lot of screen time either, but as we said...
She was so good, though, when she
She was funny as well, because that's what I think Jennifer Lawrence is really good at. She's quite funny.
Yeah, she is. She's got good comic timing, and she was such a kind of outlandish character. I'm kind of glad that they used her so sparingly, because I think if she'd been in it too much, she would have almost become annoying.
Yeah, maybe.
But she's used to great effect in this, and she's absolutely horrible in this film.
Yeah, I just liked how they sort of they establish who she is in very private settings all the way through, and then it's just one point when they're like, right, we're going to put her right in the middle of one of these scams.
I know.
It's not going to go well, especially because just the relationships have changed from the start of the film as well. So then no one's going with the woman that they should be, and you just know that things are going to fall apart.
Well, just one thing to clarify is that people who haven't seen the film and are still listening at this point, we said in the kind of the mini review at the beginning that Irving and Sydney fall in love, which is Bale and Adams' characters. They fall in love, but Jennifer Lawrence is actually Christian Bale's character's wife. Now, what I quite liked about this film is it shows you them two falling in love as if it's like this kind of idyllic partnership, and then all of a sudden it's revealed that Amy Adams' character is actually the other woman that he's having an affair with.
Yeah.
And he's trapped in this loveless marriage between him and Jennifer Lawrence's character. And it's just she's such a bitch, man. She's got him completely trapped because it's kind of he's a bit of a shit conning people. Irving's a bit of a shit, he cons people on money, he deals stolen out. He's a criminal basically, but he did one good turn in his life, and that was he kind of met a young single mother, and took her in and married her, and that was Jennifer Lawrence's character, and she's just kind of sat in the house and drank. And the thing is that blatantly neither of them really like each other, but she's terrified of being alone, and she threatens him that if he ever tries to divorce her or leave her, that she'll basically go to the police, because she knows just enough about his dirty dealings that she could get him done. And to make it matters worse, Christian Bale is actually Irving Rosenfeld's actually adopted her son and is more of a legitimate father to him than she is a legitimate mother. So
Yeah,
it's completely trapped, and she just emotionally blackmails them to stay in this loveless fucking relationship. And it's even worse when he finally does get involved with Sidney Prosser, which is Amy Adams' character, because they are genuinely in love and they are genuinely a good partnership. And Amy Adams' character will even take on board the son if necessary.
yeah. It's like she's willing to adopt Bale's adopted son.
Yeah, she's willing to be kind of like a stepmother to him, and that isn't an issue. But no, Jennifer Lawrence is kind of fucking this poisonous flower in the middle of everything, and she's fucking great though. I just like she's like a petulant child though. I mean, there's a bit where he brings,
she's so stubborn, but
she's
there's like almost on the converse. It's like if she just has no problem with doing anything. So when people are being slightly cautious about something, that they're standing talking and you're just planning on what to do, she's like, I'm just going to go over there and do it, and everyone's just like, what the fuck? And
yeah, there's some real kind of almost like just ridiculous. She just has some ridiculous moments, like when he brings home the microwave that Jeremy Renner gives him as a gift, and he's like, you're not allowed to put metal in that, and she's like, when she's left in the house by herself, don't put metal in that. Fucking, who do you think I am? I'm going to put metal in it just because I want to.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she's always setting fires as well in the house because she's just so fucking incapable of actually operating as like a normal adult. It's ridiculous. But she is great. I mean, even the way she kind of looks like this mess. She's got this kind of like...
David O. Russell does messes well as well.
He does. He really does. He knows how to make his stars look really good or really bad. But she kind of does just look like a bit of a ramshackle mess. She's got this kind of fucking 70s beehive style type hairdo, and it's just like it's always slightly kind of out of place, and she's just fucking she's absolutely horrendous in this film. And I mean, she played a mess in fucking Silver Linings. Obviously, she's like an emotional mess, but here she's just like, she goes far deeper than that. And she's the type of person that will never change, though. That's like when she played Tiffany in Silver Linings, that was obviously about getting better. Whereas fucking Rosalind in this movie will just always be Rosalind.
Yeah.
She'll never fucking get better.
It's really bizarre how much the characters, they're probably crazier in this than they were in Silver Linings. Like, Rosalind's crazier than Tiffany was.
Oh, definitely.
I think to a certain extent, Bradley Cooper's character has probably got more issues than just being bipolar in Silver Linings.
He kind of was bipolar, really, in this.
Well, yeah.
He
a little bit of a
pretty
pre-rape going on as well. That was quite hard to watch, that bit. And it's just, I could really see, they've almost got more mental problems than their mental patients in Silver Linings.
I thought
it was really interesting.
I thought these characters would have fit perfectly in with the family in the Fighter.
All
the fucking like the sisters sitting around the couch like a coven of witches. I thought like you could have slot Jennifer Lawrence into that family and she wouldn't have looked out of place at all.
No, she would have been just one of the. Maybe she was. I don't know.
Sure, I don't know. She's a cousin or something.
Something interesting though. I was looking on the IMDb database. The database is in the name. I was looking on IMDb, and the guy that Christian Bale plays, we're having a bit of debate as to what his name was in the film. Dickie someone. He was American Hustle.
Was he?
Yeah, like the crack addict ex-boxer. He's like he just plays one of the street thugs at one point.
Oh right, well,
I just thought it was a nice little Russell nod. Because this is essentially the cast of The Fighter with the cast of Silver Linings put together.
Yes, well, the leads of them, only except Mark Wahlberg. Should have got Mark Wahlberg to play the mayor instead of Jeremy Renner.
Can Mark Wahlberg play someone that nice, though?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg plays nice guys.
I'm going to say, out of everyone in this film, Jeremy Renner's character was the only one I felt sorry for pretty much the entire duration of the film.
Yeah, he's such... Jeremy Renner, I usually think he plays a bit of a dick. Even when he's like a nice guy, he's a bit of a dick. But here, he was just a legitimately nice guy. He was like a family man. He was all about the community. Race didn't matter to him. Everything was for the people, and he was loved by all. And he's kind of almost entrapped, specifically by Christian Bale, who later develops quite a good friendship with him. Which also adds a layer to Christian Bale's character, who feels like racked with guilt over what he's done to him, and
because he's the first guy that they kind of get in this con, and It was Bradley Cooper being a bit too forward meant that Christian Bale had to nip out and fix it all, and he dragged him back into the room and then got him to commit the crime.
Yeah.
And it was, honestly, that scene when he confronts him about it, it was really, really, like, heart-wrenching.
Yeah,
like,
it
Jeremy
was.
Renner's like, I was gone. I had left, and you wasn't on the level.
He knows he's completely caught, and he didn't even realize he was doing anything wrong and such. Like he maybe knew he was doing something wrong, but it was for the people. It's not like he takes money for himself, like a lot of these other politicians. It was all for like his community. And he did walk out. It was because Christian Bale's character Irvin did fucking persuade him to come back, and then to befriend him, legitimately befriend him afterwards, is kind of rubbing salt into the wound.
Yeah. And they were really good friends at that point. It wasn't fake, because I think the bit you mentioned earlier about the microwave.
Yeah, he buys him a
when
microwave.
she breaks it, and Christian she's like, oh, we'll just buy a new microwave. And Christian's like, no, I wanted the one that Carmine bought me.
Yeah.
It's clear that they actually get on.
Well, he says as well when Carmine obviously gets kind of pulled in when it all starts collapsing towards the end. It's the fact that their friendship was broken is something that haunted him forever.
Yeah.
I thought their relationship was good, because I gotta say, from the trailers, I thought Jeremy Renner's character Carmine was actually, I didn't really know anything about his character going into this, but I actually thought with a name like Carmine Polito, I thought he was going to be like a mob boss or something.
Yeah, I thought he was definitely going to be highly involved in the execution of the hustle, rather than a victim of the entrapment of it. Because there is a mob presence in this,
a surprising mob presence.
Cameo from Robert De Niro, and personally, the scariest film character of all time.
He was scary. He was in full mob boss De Niro mode. And Christ, like at first I didn't actually recognize him, because he's balding in this. They're giving like a strange kind of balding look. He looked old as shit. And
if there's one thing, is he looked really, really good in Silver Linings. Like, he had amazing hair in Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, he's got still has a thick head of hair. I don't know whether it's legitimately real, or I think it is, but
it must be.
They've certainly thinned him out.
Yeah. Give him like liver spots everywhere and things. He looked really old, but God, that scene, it was almost shot in real time in one camera move, where they're in the back room playing I guess they're playing cards at some point, and he's in there. There's a load of mob bosses, and then you get the people running the hustle come in trying to hustle professional mob people, and I think that's one of the most tense things I've ever watched, especially when the fake sheik doesn't respond in Arabic.
That's such a good bit, though. Guys, I mean, just the fact that we've never actually mentioned this fake sheik just shows how far this ridiculous con goes. But the sheik's actually played by Michael Pena.
I know. I love Michael Pena.
I do as well. He's grown on me a hell of a lot as he's starting to get more and more things. But he basically knows 3 phrases in Arabic. And it turns out Robert De Niro's character actually has a couple of casinos over in the Emirates, so he speaks it fluently. And when he starts asking questions, and Michael Pena's just sitting there smiling.
Yeah, well,
it's so intense.
I was on edge anyway. In that
I know,
scene,
because he's edgy as shit.
Yeah, he's so edgy, and it's just back and forth edginess, and then it's just he just starts speaking Arabic, just complete surprise, and I was like, oh shit!
I know. I kind of almost gasped as oh fuck.
I really did.
And I was looking at Bradley Cooper, going, "Motherfucker, you got us into this."
Yeah, no.
I felt like I was sitting on the table with them, kind of going, "God damn it, we could have walked away, but no, you had to go higher."
Like, Christian Bale was just lightly shaking his head, I would imagine, and Bradley Cooper was just looking like, "What the fuck do I do now?" It was so tense because no one did anything for absolutely ages.
What was even worse though is Irvin really obviously was very uncomfortable in that situation, because not only was he now in a meeting with one of the scariest mob bosses in America, but his fucking alcoholic wife was now fraternizing with his fucking his hit squad that were waiting in the bar outside. So he was looking really uncomfortable.
He had it.
But and fucking De Niro's character just instantly kind of hones in on that, and he doesn't like him. You can tell he doesn't like Irvin straight away. He really doesn't like Christian Bale's character, and that just kind of further makes things so much more awkward when things are going good. But when things start to fall apart in this meeting, it's just it's so cringeworthy. It's terrible. But that was a really good scene. Yeah, I've got to say this when I heard this was announced. I mean, I love Silver Linings. The more I think about it, I think that was my favorite film of 2012.
I can't really hear you, Ben.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
The more I think about it, I think Silver Linings Playbook was my favorite movie of 2012. It's certainly the one that I've enjoyed most
Yeah, definitely.
in the time since. But especially when this was announced, the fact that it kind of had the cast of Silver Linings and the cast of The Fighter kind of coming together, I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and it didn't really disappoint me at all.
No, it probably met every expectation I wanted. It was a different film to what I thought I was going to get, but certainly met my expectations.
Yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was thoroughly entertaining. It had a lot of substance, but it was also very stylish. And I can't believe that it made these horrible 70s fashions look so damn cool as well.
I know when they actually go to the dancing club, Bradley Cooper's outfit is atrocious, but damn, he pulled that off.
He did.
Like they all have ridiculous hair. Like each of the three main leads, the male, like you've got Jeremy Renner's huge bouffant, Bradley Cooper's perm, and then Christian Bale's comb over.
Yeah, they're all like staples of the fucking 70s, aren't they? They're ridiculous.
And they all look amazing.
But then you've got like fucking Jennifer Lawrence's crazy like beehive style thing, and then you've got like Amy Adams for the most part has kind of a bit of a Farrah Fawcett thing going on, but there's one scene where she's got it kind of all, I don't know what you would call it, crunched or frizzed out. And it looks like it looks like as close to an afro as a white redhead could get. And I think there's actually a couple of...
very well.
You what, sorry?
I remember that bit very well, because she had like almost, yeah, you're right, a Farrah Fawcett look through the rest of it, and then she just turned up in one scene with this, and I was like, right, there we go.
That's a shit, man. And she's like in glittery, like she's like in a glittery V-neck thing. Shit, she wears a V-neck, like a plunging neckline thing in every scene. Like, she goes down to the shop and her tits are hanging out.
It's ridiculous. By V-neck, right? I'm talking like an inch further each side, and you'd have nip in the shot, and the V probably meets at the crotch.
Oh yeah, it's basically two bits of fabric, really. It's like a Borat mankini, but you know, obviously a lot better.
It really is.
I ain't complaining. I enjoyed it, but to be honest, Amy Adams actually shows quite a bit of flesh in this movie.
Really does, yeah.
Because it goes into her background a little bit, and she was a stripper, and I thought, well, it's nice to include these little details.
Yeah, I was complaining about the extra scenes at the start to lay the groundwork, but you've just convinced me that I was wrong.
But yeah, I don't
Maybe
really
a contender for a Hottie of the Month.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll have to wait and see.
Indeed.
Give it to Jennifer Lawrence for a third time.
Is it really a third? No, I don't think Jennifer. I think Jennifer Lawrence is actually quite repulsive in this movie.
I wouldn't say no.
I'd say, all right, but I'd be trapped in a web.
Look, remember when we were talking about The Fighter, and we were like, "There's something about Amy Adams in that film," even though she's like she works as a bartender in a dive bar.
Yeah, she's slightly it sounds harsh as shit. She's slightly scummy in that film, and
yeah,
it's quite.
I got such a similar vibe from Jennifer Lawrence in this film.
Yeah, but she trapped you in a web of despair. She's like a Black Widow spider. But yeah, I don't know how much more I can really say about this film. I just really enjoyed it. I think it's fully deserving of its A. It didn't really disappoint me in my expectations for it, which were quite high. Christian Bale, if anything, Christian Bale actually exceeded my expectations. I thought he was absolutely marvelous in this film, and Louis C.K. was an added little bonus. So,
and De Niro. Can't forget De Niro.
Oh, and De Niro, fucking hell, yeah, De Niro. I didn't even going into this. I didn't even know he was going to be in the film.
It was a well-kept secret.
And
to be honest, it's still well-kept because this is the first time I've told anyone that he's in it.
Yeah, it's almost nice to not to tell people because when he turns up, it's a bit of a surprise. So we fucked that up already. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what David O. Russell's got to do next. Actually, I'm just having a quick look to see if he's got anything announced.
I think he does.
Yeah, probably does. Yeah, he's got a film called Nailed. In fact, it's complete apparently. And it's
he's the sort of director that seems to get one done every sort of 8 to 10 months. So he always likes to have a project going.
His next film is a project called Nailed, about a small town waitress who gets a nail accidentally lodged in her head, causing unpredictable behaviour that leads to Washington D.C. Jake Gyllenhaal and Jessica Biel.
Oh.
They're the two names. You've also got James Marsden and Catherine Keener in it as well. So
I like Catherine Keener.
I love Catherine Keener. I don't know if I
he's so bland, but I feel that someone one day will get a really good performance out of him. And that man might be Russell. And then
Well,
one
he's
day
got a talent for it.
we might have an American Hustle nailed cast combination for his next one.
Possibly. But yeah, we'll see what that's like. I'm looking forward to it though. But yeah, certainly American Hustle, well deserving of its A rating from Screenhog UK.
You never took a quarter from a phone booth. You stole. I just got bigger balls than you.
Good times, bad times, you know I've had my share.